So we're in business. This is, I clear that down because it's still running actually, so it's still running, so it'll keep building it. So I will stop it from running. Just stop it from running. Okay, so I just stopped the job that was running, processing that for JSON. Then I can go back here and I can clear it down. So I added this clear down button just to delete everything that was in the number 2 table. That was step 1. I just to make testing work. And then the real problem actually was what basically I'll explain. What I did is when we I'll start from the beginning. So when we did this, I went down in here, and I just, by the way, I just removed a condition on there so that I could pick up the unprocessed one every time. So this one just picks up the latest one, just so I didn't have to go around fiddle around with the data. And then it goes into here, and it goes into here. Then I created a table called ZDebug, and it's there for no purpose other than to put in some messages so I know what's going on. And then we go down into here, and you'll see I've added the base URL of website home URL. So if you go in here, it's got this base URL. So that means that when you move to production or you have versioned bubble, then this will just work because this will dynamically put in the right base URL, like version test, version live, version whatever. Because I thought that was the initial problem. Basically, because what I noticed was this debug here was never getting created. So basically, we were never hitting this. So the way I figured that out was I created this debug, and it just returns a status message of this. And if we can find, so this is it working, but when it wasn't working, I'll delete it, it's probably the best way to do it. When it wasn't working, we got bad request. And the reason we're getting bad request is because this JSON was unparsable, and the clue is that when you paste it into the initialize, what is actually happening under the covers is line breaks are getting changed, and I've seen this in I've done this before. So I basically use a regex pattern. That \n is the line break character, and I replaced it with a space. So that is what actually is happening. When you paste that into there, your line breaks are being removed. See how there's no line breaks in there. So those line breaks were causing this to be a bad request, and because it was a bad request, it was never getting into here, so it was never logging that, and so then it never went through this. So this all looks great, by the way, and this technique of putting in debug to see what's going on in your backend workflows, I use it all the time. And what you could do, some of them you can get rid of, but what I would generally do is, in this one for sure, create it only when the result of step 2 return an error. So I definitely leave this one in, so that whenever there's an error processing in JSON, you can see what the error is. In fact, I'd do this. In fact, this is what I'd do. Error code. So when you're result step 2, error code, error message. So when it does fail, you've got a chance of fixing it, and so you've got that. I wouldn't create a new ZDebug. This is just so I knew that I was coming into here. that's the find and replace. It's going into here. So we're basically removing the line breaks before we get into here. Into here. This name's pretty horrible, by the way. Why not just call it that? And this is all fine. And then when you get down into here, this is all fine. I mean, I didn't really fully look into these, but if you think they're working, that's all you need to know. Any other observations to make? A lot of people don't really know what these are for. You don't, if the person, it's an email coming in, isn't it? So when an email comes in, it won't be authenticated, so this is probably right. You only need to use these. What can we run without authentication? Do we do a search in here? So we do the search. That's why you need the authentication off, which is fine. So basically, I think you're in business. Let's just do a test. Let's just come down there, play down this. Delete this. Another thing you can do is another technique, which is quite handy, is create a new debug only when. So we'll only do debugging when we're in test mode. Is it live version? Yes. So we'll only be only when we're in test mode will we put in this debug, or maybe you only want to do it when you're in live mode. Okay, cool. So we go here, and we go here, and we're off to the races in a minute or two. He says, what's going on? Okay. And another one. Oh, I think I remember seeing a delay in here. Where did I see this delay? Yeah. Not sure you need to put in these big delays. I'm not sure why you're doing these big delays. If you're doing it because you want this to finish, then you want that to finish, then you want that to finish, that's probably a really terrible design. It probably won't work. You probably, if that's what you're trying to do, if you're trying to, I'm guessing that you're trying to make this finish, then that finish, and just give them plenty of time, the way to do it would be, when you go into here, so this recursive workflow is a very common model. Actually, I'll leave it at that. I'm not 100% sure why you've got such big delays in here, what you're trying to achieve. Maybe if you tell me, I can suggest a better design. Anyway, I think you're in business. Let's have another look. Yep, you're off to the races.